Welcome all, this is Madan. This demo is about creating our first React app and start to learn React. So if you don't know about the React, then it is a JavaScript library for building the user interface, and it is one of the most used JavaScript front-end library for building the applications, web application today. And if you have a knowledge about the React, then you will have an advantage. So let's start with our first React application. And in order to use the React, first of all you need to install the Node.js. So you can head over to the Node.js website and then install the Node.js onto your machine. After that you need to install the create react app package, npm package, and this is very useful package, and this does all of our setup for getting started with the React, so we don't need to do anything. So after then you can install this package here, and you need to install this package globally. So in order to install this package globally, what you can do is npm install -g and then create react app, and then you may need the administrative permission. So I'm going to use sudo here, and we are going to install this globally so that it can be available from in any directory. So let's install this. After then it will ask you for the password, and then it will install that React app, that create react app package. After we have installed the create react app, now we can create our first react app with this package. And let's create our first React app using this create react app package. So in order to create a React application, npm create react app and then name of your app. So I'm going to give getting started, getting started here. So this is all it takes to create our first React application. And you can learn more about the React.js by visiting their website, and it is developed by Facebook, and we are using create react app so that we don't need to do any setup. So it will do the hard work for us and create the React application. So it's gonna take some time. And now it has successfully created our React application, and here it has given the list of the command that we can use to run our application. So at first we need to do cd getting started. So if I do ls here, then we have a folder here getting started. Then I can go into that getting started folder. After then we can use npm start to run our React project. And first of all I'm going to open this open the source code into the Visual Studio Code. After then I'm gonna hit npm start, and it will open our application. So this is our first brand new React application, and it uses the 3000 port by default. So this is it. This is all it takes to create our first React application. So now let's head over to our code. And it is not showing the code, so let's open this into another terminal here and then do code. First of all I'm going to remove this quit and then code and dot. So with our React app we get these folders here, and node modules, public, and src. And most of the time we will be writing our source code or the React application inside this src folder. And by default this src folder contains the app.css, app.js, and index.css, index.js. And this app.js is React function here, and this is rendering, this app.js is rendering this view here, and this app.js is called by this index.js here, and this is how we call the component in the React application. And then this React DOM.render renders our component, app component, and it uses this document.getElement by id root element to render the component, and this root element is on our public and index here. So every component we created, or the React uses this div with the id of root to render the component. So here this is the image and the text, these are displayed by using the app.js, and this whole thing is rendered in the document inside the div of whose id is root. So we are going to create a things from the scratch. Now let's remove this app.css, app.js, and these things, we don't need those, so let's delete, and we are going to create our own component here. So now obviously you get the error, and this is hot reloading, so whenever I change make any changes to the file and save, then those will be automatically reflected back to our browser, and we don't need to restart the server. So I'm going to create a component here, new folder. It is better to keep all of our component inside the component folder here, and inside the component let's create our component here, and I'm going to create a component counter component component.jsx, and this JSX is the extension used by the React, and with JSX what we can do is we can use our HTML inside the JavaScript. So we need to do a couple of things. We need to import the component from the React library here, then we can create a component using this. So class, and our name of the component is counter component, counter component, and this extends from the component. Now inside the render we can render our HTML. So in this return statement let's give some message, hello world. And now right at the moment if I see through our application, then it still gives us the error because we are not displaying using this counter component. And in order to use this counter component we need to go to our index.js, and we need to tell the React to render our counter component. So I can call the counter component here, close it, and then put comma. So it will use the React DOM to render our counter component into the root, into the element whose id is root. Now with this it should run our application, but we are still getting error here, and this is because we have this app component and we already deleted that app component. So let's delete it from here, and then let's see, and we see our hello world. So this is how we create our first React applications, or if you have just started learning the React, then this is the good place to start. Now you can add other elements here. So we already have h2, and you can add another h3 here, and let's put how are you. Now whenever I add another element here, as soon as I add the another element I get the error saying that JSX expression must have one parent element. So if we have more than one element here, then we need to wrap those inside a single parent element. So we can put another div here, /div, and let's save it. And now if we go over and we can see, so we need to wrap if we want to use the render the multiple HTML elements, then we need to wrap those inside the parent elements. Or if you don't want to create another HTML element, then what you can do is React.fragment, and this does the same thing as creating the another element here. So we can close that React.fragment. So this also does our job. So whichever way you like, you can use that. So this is it for now, friend, and in the next demo on the React will be very interesting. So hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you enjoyed this, then please don't forget to subscribe, share and like. Thanks for watching and have a great day.